Hello, welcome to another episode of Swapping Joysticks. I'm your host, Ben Ostwick, otherwise known as Biggest Bennis if you're nasty. And speaking of nasty, Ed made himself a cup of tea.
It's a lovely... Well, I haven't tried it yet. It's a lovely cup of tea.
Okay.
I'm sure it will be.
As long as it's not loose leaf. I'm not a fan of tea in a kettle, in a teapot.
Proper tea?
Yeah, I don't like that.
You like cheap tea?
Yeah. Nice
Cheap
Yorkshire tea.
Cheap taste.
Oh, but yeah, we're back. It's the 18th of October.
I'm Ed, by the way, just because you didn't actually
I
say
did.
my
I
name.
said Ed is classless or something. Dirty. That was it. Nasty,
Wow.
not dirty.
Anyway, how was your week?
It's been all right. I'm trying to think what I did. What did I do? We went to the theatre yesterday.
You did. Well, there's a whole theatre review section to do first.
We'll do that in a second. I had root canal this morning.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was my second one.
A different kind of
Go
theatre.
to the dentist all the time, folks. Don't ever skip it. A filling is nicer than... Well, actually, no. Genuinely, I mean, it's freaking ridiculously expensive.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, so the root canal, I'm not going to talk about the thing itself, but like the root canal is like, well, they wanted to put like a stent in it or whatever it's called. Stent, is that a word?
Probably.
Like a post
I'm not down on
for
my
the
dentistry
crown.
knowledge.
So yeah, they removed the root. I love it because he's Norwegian, and I'm not going to do the accent, but he's like, okay, we'll put you down, and
No, you're certainly not doing the accent.
no, and he's like, no, and we'll open the tooth, and I'm like, I don't know about opening teeth, thank you. But anyway, he did it. Anyway, it was over £1,000 for that, and then I've got to get a crown, which is about not much less than that, just on one tooth. Should have just been like, no, just get rid of it. Look, it's a back one, so you can't even see it. But yeah.
Delightful.
Anyway, no, but I nearly fell asleep during it. Like I was really tired because last night, obviously, I was worrying and panicking, and it was also I had to get up at 6 a.m. pretty much to go there because it was the other side of London. But yeah, no, it was like he obviously injected me, which was weird because he injected me and then like I didn't feel anything. But afterwards, I put my earphone in my ear was numb, so it must have made the whole thing. Well, it wasn't totally numb, but it was definitely not fully. I couldn't feel that it was in, like my earbud, like my headphone was in, but I could still hear, luckily. Because I was like, am I going to be deaf in one ear? No, but no, generally,
I was thinking, like, are you going to be so high that you're not allowed to go home and I have to come and pick you up?
No, they don't give you that stuff,
Okay.
unfortunately. Although, like, no, like, I genuinely, I was falling asleep. It was really, like, I didn't feel anything. And they put, like a rubber thing in your mouth. And then they put the tooth around it. So like anything that comes off or falls off, it just lands in the rubber and then they can get rid of it. It's like a latex thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can like disassociate anything that's happening on the other side of the latex. I'm just disassociating that it's not in my mouth because I can't feel it really. Just some vibrations.
What a lovely story to start the podcast.
It was genuinely did not bother me at all. I wouldn't rush to get any more, but
Well, quite.
if I do need one and I'm, got some money, then I'll be like, okay, sure, I'll go there. He's really good. If you're looking for a root canal in London, let me know and I'll pass you on. But yeah, it's
If you've got a spare grand.
yeah, at least because but then you need the crown.
That's true. $2,000.
Yeah,
Wow.
per tooth. All right. Well, that was
Well, that was your morning.
that was
Lovely.
my morning.
I've been working hard,
Were you?
as one does.
And you were working hard while listening to Michael Jackson on full blast.
Working day and night. There you go. There's your link.
Is that Michael Jackson's song?
Oh, for God's
They didn't
sake.
sing that song. Tell the listeners.
Well, we went to the theatre yesterday because I moaned about having too much screen time.
Yeah.
So we bought tickets last minute.
Did we?
You did.
Ungrateful swine. How long did it take me to book those tickets after you said you needed some...
About 30 seconds.
Literally, generally, I was like, opened up Tix. I don't know if you know the Tix app. And then went, okay, today. And literally the first thing that came up was Michael Jackson, or MJ the Musical. And I'm like, well, I know you like Michael Jackson, so just pressed it. And found two really, really really good priced tickets. And like where we were sat, it was great.
Yeah, we were right at the top, but it's...
The front of the top-ish.
Yes. But also it's a decent theatre where you can actually see even from the top. Because a lot of the like really old theatres, you're up in the gods, as we call it, and you're so far away and you're sort of looking down and it's just a really bad view. Actually, the view is decent. You
Yeah.
can see everything really clearly. It was all good.
Yeah, I think I'd have been upset if I'd spent a lot of money, but like,
True.
because it was good. Well, actually, you're the theatre nerd, you're the theatre kid,
And the MJ nerd, I guess.
and the MJ nerd. So go and tell us, what did you think?
Bloody love a bit of Michael Jackson. Well, maybe not him, his music. Let's not get into that awkward stuff. But the music,
they certainly didn't.
No, they certainly didn't. The music, however, I loved growing up. I had tickets to see a show before he died.
Oh,
Sad times. And the story of this musical is an actual biopic about Michael Jackson. Him.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes place in the rehearsals for his Dangerous tour.
Shimon?
Yes, that's. I mean, I don't think he ever actually says that in the show. Thank you.
Oh, it doesn't say in the show, but it says in the song.
Yeah, sure.
Which song is it that it says Shimon in?
You
Bad.
feel so good. Come on. That's more of a come on.
Is it
not
mad?
Shimon.
Isn't it? Shimon.
Make that change.
I'm sure it says Shimon in like bad.
He probably does. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I know more about you.
Sure.
Than you.
So it's the rehearsals for his Dangerous tour. Now, I've watched that tour on DVD with my old housemate.
I think I was there when you watched it a bit, or at least no, you started showing bits on YouTube, and I was like, "Come on."
Yeah,
I think we were really
don't-
drunk
you
one
don't
night,
appreciate
and you
that.
started loading it up on YouTube. Oh, okay.
It's a really iconic tour. It's the one where he jumps up out the toaster, as they call it, at the very beginning, and he just stands there for about 5 minutes and doesn't move, and
Milking it.
everybody just loses their shit and faints and just has to get dragged out of the arena. And then it ends with him flying over the audience in a jetpack because he's Michael Jackson. It's completely iconic tour. And the show is set in the rehearsal room leading up to that tour, where he's being interviewed during rehearsals, dance rehearsals, by a couple of people from MTV. And it is him reliving his youth through the music and them trying to get to the core of who is Michael Jackson? Who is the man behind the myth? And I don't think they really answer that, to be honest. But they sing some nice songs along the way. I got a bit confused because previously on the West End, there was Thriller Live, which was the previous Michael Jackson musical, which I went to see. And that is essentially just a cabaret show of his music. Whereas, at least with this, and I appreciate this, that they at least try to tell a story.
Yeah.
So it's not just, let's put on some of his songs. It's at least, let's tell a story about Michael Jackson through his music. And they do that in earnest. I think the problem is that they just don't really actually interrogate him in any way.
Oh no, it's very. What did they use in The Guardian?
Oh, I can't remember. They used a great word that I was like, that is
Sanitized.
sanitized. That's it. It's a very sanitized version of Michael Jackson. It takes place a year before the first sexual allegations. So
Convenient.
yeah, so it just completely avoids that. And I realized afterwards the whole show has been, I don't know if it's funded by, but is at least acknowledged isn't the right word.
I think you told me last night it was funded, but I don't know
Maybe
if that's
partly
from the
funded.
review.
by the Jackson estate. So they've had a hand in it, and they can therefore say, well, actually, we don't really want any of the bad stuff to be in it.
Oh, the bad. They did,
apart from
yeah.
bad. They include the sort of use of drugs at least, but not
And the abusive father.
and the abusive father, but not the rest. So yeah, it feels like a very sanitized version of Michael Jackson's life, and I just don't feel like they go deep enough. They set up this whole idea of, as I said, can you separate the man from the music, and who was the man? And Michael Jackson is such an enigmatic figure that nobody really knows who he is, apart from maybe his close family. And the show doesn't really enlighten you in any way,
No.
to be honest. But they do sing some nice songs along the way, so that's nice. I think my problem with any form of performing Michael Jackson songs as Michael Jackson is that you're just going to come off as a bad imitator, no matter how good you are. Like, because you see so many people like put on a wig and do a moonwalk and go, oh, Michael Jackson. And even if you're, as this guy is, a great performer, and you know, he nails the speaking voice, I would say. The singing voice isn't quite there.
No.
The dancing is good, but not
I
quite there
realised
either.
They didn't do. I don't think he ever did the dance where he stands on the tiptoes. That pose.
He did at one point.
Oh, okay.
It was in the bit with the old dancers that influenced him, because I think actually it was a Fred
Okay.
Astaire move to be on his tiptoes, and
Okay.
you saw him copy it, but it was not with the song you associate it with, which is Smooth Criminal.
Yes.
So it's what was I saying? Yeah, you just come across as like a bad imitator. So as much as the guy playing Michael Jackson was good at what he does, like, you're not Michael Jackson, and you're never gonna be.
And that's why I really liked the Standing at the Sky's Edge, and obviously Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia on the stage is way better than the film, because the people that
seen
can
it.
sing. Well, okay, maybe next time. Is it still on the?
Of course, it's on the West End. When is it not on the West End?
Oh, I thought I didn't realize
Bloody
it was
Mamma Mia.
still that
It's
popular.
on forever.
Okay, it's one of
I
those.
think it might not be.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I've seen it. Well, never mind.
Anyway,
But no, I like those ones. I really enjoyed because they are the jukebox musical, but they're set to a story, and especially Standing at the Sky's Edge is all that. Go back if you have not listened to it already, but there's a episode where we spoke about that, and it's all the music of Richard Hawley, or a lot of his songs then put to a story, and every song is sung by someone that doesn't sound anything like him. It could be and they've changed it quite a bit as well. So a song that maybe he's just going like, "There's a storm coming," and it kind of builds up a bit, but it's just him with a guitar, called "A Storms Are Coming" or something like that. But in that, like, it's a full choir, pretty much everybody's singing it together, and it's building as they're all singing it, and like it's a different arrangement.
correct.
There we go. See, you're the music person, I know. Do you know what I learned what the other day? I learned what a rhapsody was.
I actually can't remember that myself. Is it something to do with romance?
No.
Oh. Come on, then.
So a rhapsody, and then when someone explained it, I was like, "Oh, fucking
I'm going to
course
know it when you
is."
say it.
Well, I'm going to give you one word: Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's not one word, is it?
Well, fine. You're going to be pedantic because you don't know. You're going out defensive.
Yeah, I am.
Um,
Because that doesn't help me, but
it's
okay.
a song that changes
Mood?
its style throughout.
Yeah.
Like Bohemian Rhapsody.
There you go.
Because I was looking at that Ren song. You know, the Ren about the guy with who sings about mental health.
Oh, that thing. Yeah.
That thing. Wow. It's called Ren.
Okay.
Ed. It's really good. Go and it's called I think it's High Ren is the song. I definitely recommend checking out the video. I think you'll either love it or not, but it's powerful. But anyway, yeah, that song changes, and I was like, I really quite like songs like that. You know, I mean, to an extent, there's things like Tubular Bells, but I'm like, is that a rhapsody or is that a kind of composition of? Because it's like 45 minutes long, isn't it?
Oh,
So,
the full album.
yeah, but it's like all
multiple
one.
tracks.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes,
Is it?
maybe.
I would double check that.
Actually,
I'm
now you've
pretty
said that, maybe
sure-
it is just like
I think it's just one song, and then it turns into like some kind of country song like near the end. It's wild, but like, yeah, I was trying to work out what one of those. I was like, I quite like those type of songs. It's, you know, it's a journey, and you know, I googled on what they were called, and someone was like, you know, a bit like Bohemian Rhapsody. And like, yeah, it's a rhapsody. So now I felt stupid, but I'm glad I wasn't the only person that didn't understand.
Well, that's the thing. Now you've said that, it makes complete sense, and I'm
Yeah.
sure I didn't know it. I just couldn't
Oh, I'm
remember.
just sure I knew. I definitely
I'm
knew it.
sure I
It
knew
was just
it.
stored
I'm
away in a different
sure.
part of the brain I've not
Yeah.
used.
Of course. It's been a long time since I
Yeah.
did my degree.
No, I do enjoy those kind of songs though. They're just
Anyway, how does this relate to Michael Jackson?
absolutely no idea.
Great.
Good
tangent.
No, we were saying like how, yeah, Richard Hawley, like, and Mamma Mia, they have. I mean, Mamma Mia is pretty much the same song, but it's sung by multiple like different people, and yeah, like "Lay All Your Love on Me," for example, is
Tune.
sung by a load of cast of topless men with muscles in Mamma
Oh,
Mia.
that's why you remember it.
I do. That was actually one of my favorite songs.
I'm sure it was.
Did I ever tell you about the karaoke one of me singing "Lay All Your Love on Me" in Barcelona?
What, you sang it in karaoke?
Well, in Spain, in Barcelona, we did "Lay All Your." Well, there was a karaoke cafe or karaoke bar in Barcelona, and me and a few other teachers were there, and I was like, "Oh my god, let's do "Lay All Your Love on Me," and we did it, and we were very drunk, so it was quite shouty and
Of course.
like that. And then the next day, one of my friends who was there, might have even been the friend that's visiting, Nelson.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but they were like, "Oh, what was that song you all sang at the karaoke?" And then I sent him the song, and he was like, oh, I do know this song. He just couldn't recognize it. It was sung so badly, he had no idea what song it was.
This doesn't surprise me of you.
So that's how bad. Yeah, it wasn't Be Prepared. I hadn't found Be Prepared at that point, I don't think.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
So anyway, I was just saying I liked that. Whereas when you're just trying to copy Michael Jackson and playing as Michael Jackson, I mean, you can't do better than him, not just because he was an incredible singer, but also you're there to be Michael Jackson. You're not there to sing Michael Jackson songs.
Yeah. Like, my favorite performer in the whole thing was probably the mum, because she joined. And, I mean, she had an incredible voice. And I don't know the actress name.
It was 10 times better than any of the other people.
Yeah, she was just hitting notes and going up there, and I was like, fucking sang
the
queen.
kids. Oh, I saw on the Instagram that they were looking for actors to play the kid Michael Jackson.
Oh,
because I don't know if they're sacking that one.
I don't think you can do that, Ben. I'm afraid.
No, I can't. I definitely didn't fill the requirements for many of those requirements. In fact, I don't think I hit any of those requirements. Least of all, singing.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. I think it would have been interesting to have a show that uses his songs, but in a different way, and they're sung differently by different people, rather than it just being, here are people doing impressions the whole time. That said, I don't think his songs really lend themselves to a musical theatre.
I don't think his songs
dramatic
are very good.
Interpretation. Well, so some of them were used in interesting ways, like Thriller. I mean, we'll spoil it. Thriller is used right towards the end is this kind of almost nightmare about his life that it's like haunting him.
And they tease it at the beginning. I quite like.
Yeah. So stuff like that, you're like, well, that's kind of clever. And then they all come together at the end to sing Man in the Mirror as this like completely opposite, just grounded, really straight, really simple version of it, which was great. However, they also have the bit which, so he was in a Pepsi ad in the 80s.
Yeah.
And a light exploded above him and set his head on fire, or his hair on fire. And he got really badly burned and had to use painkillers. And that's when he started becoming addicted to painkillers. That was the start of it. So that's why they include it. But
Is that why you don't drink Pepsi? Never forgiven them.
No, I just don't like the taste of it.
Okay.
But they have that moment in a scene, and then straight afterwards, he goes into rehearsals of singing, "Can you feel it? Can you feel it?"
I thought that was a weird song.
Can you feel it? And I'm like, what, feel the burn in your head? Like, why are you singing this now? It's just, that felt really crass.
So you made a comment to me about like, oh, this is a weird thing. And I was thinking that, but I thought you were commenting on the singing because that singing was bad. I was like,
right.
Yeah, especially when his mum, the person playing his mum, sang with anybody else at the same time, she completely showed them up because it was like a different tune.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed the one song I really liked was the one where they all sang together. I generally like a song where lots of people sing together.
Like a chorus.
A choir. I do like a choir. What's the one?
Which one?
The one at the end of the first half. The first 45 minutes. The one and you were like, oh, in fact, I've got it on here.
I was gonna say, why don't you just get the list up? Because I can't.
Because then you'll just go, oh, I like the song, and start singing it. It was They Don't Care About Us.
All I want to say is that they don't really care about us.
Yeah, that one. That was really good.
All I want to say is that
I knew. This is why I'm not going to close this down, because otherwise you're going to just read through them all and start singing. Well, you were better than some of them. Anyway, video games. Is Michael Jackson... Didn't he write a video game or something?
Well... there is a Michael Jackson Moonwalker game on the Mega Drive that was incredible.
Oh, the Moonwalking was good actually last night. It was very good.
Oh, the Moonwalkers. Yeah. And you have to go through the Smooth Criminal levels and save Bubbles the monkey.
Bubbles was referenced?
He was referenced. That game is great and had like digital versions of Smooth Criminal. But also there was a whole thing.
Wait, is that the Mega Drive you say?
That was on the Mega Drive.
Do you have it?
I don't. I think I might have rented it from Blockbuster.
Because
that's how
I know
old it was.
Analog, Analog, they just released the Nintendo 64 thing, the Analog 3D, which we should probably get somewhere. Maybe we'll include that in news. Oh, no, we're not doing. Oh, is that in one of the questions?
Well, don't spoil the questions,
Okay.
Ben.
Well, they do one for the Super Nintendo, or it was Mega Drive. I'm
Do
pretty
they?
sure. Or maybe they just do
I think
Nintendo
it's just
ones.
Analog Pocket and 64.
No. Let me go see.
Really?
They do others, but I think it might just be Nintendo.
Oh.
Analog, we'll just call it. Analog products. Here we go. People enjoy this. Listen to us search on Google.
Well, this is the thing. I have a Mega Drive under the bed, but I
Are there?
don't have.
Mega SG.
Oh,
it's sold out.
a Mega Sega.
Yeah. And it's all got like HDMI output, 1080p, no emulation, so you have to have the actual game.
Why did I not know about this?
Do you want me to? Unfortunately, like I don't know how long it's sold out for, but I will.
God damn it!
Because they are very it's
Do
difficult.
they have a? Oh, there's a SNES one. Scroll down.
Yeah. Super Nintendo.
Oh, but it's the horrible American design.
I'm sure you can.
The Japanese
customize.
Super Nintendo, this Japanese and European SNES was so much better.
Thing is, they also do lots of different colors for the. Well, they don't have them in at the moment, but like the Analog Pocket, which is the Game Boy versions, the amount like the different colors they do all the colors from the original ones. Oh my god, I love it. I need to play it more. They do them all from, where is it? Let me just go and scroll so you can see all the pictures somewhere. But yeah, they've got like all the original colors from, like the pastel colors.
Ah.
But they are somewhere, but it's like the world's
they're not
longest. No, unless they had a different name.
Anyway, yes, if you want to buy me one of those and then the Michael Jackson Moonwalker game so I can replay it, that would be great.
Well, that's all you're getting for like the next 3 years.
Well, there's another game that he's supposedly in that is actually behind
There you go.
me.
There's the pastel one. Because they were based on the colours of the original Game Boy.
Far left.
I wonder if they do a NES one, because this is called like Analog Editions, but I'm like, is there a SNES edition one? Oh, there's that. Is that a different one? Oh, that's a Game Gear one.
I don't know what that is.
Hyperdub. Oh, wait, what about this one? Ghostly? Would you prefer that, the white one to...
What is that?
That's a SNES, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so.
Everything's sold out then.
Yeah,
Anyway,
like
this is not
Analog
interesting
sells
for people on
everything
the
else.
podcast.
Sorry, everybody. Go on then.
There is another game that Michael Jackson is supposedly in on the Mega Drive, and that is Sonic 3.
Yes.
Now, the reason for that is because he was seen at Sega's offices and had written music, supposedly, for the game. However, this came out in 94? It was 93. 93. And that was the same year as all of the allegations against Michael Jackson.
Ah.
And I think Sega got cold feet and were like, yeah, it's probably best that you're not in this. And so they completely redid the soundtrack to Sonic 3.
Mm-hmm.
But the original music that Michael Jackson supposedly did, because he's not credited anywhere, but the original music that he supposedly did, people have listened to and found loads of similar melodies and chord progressions to the music that came out afterwards in like history and all that stuff. So there are loads of YouTube videos about it and people analyzing the music and comparing it to be like, is that actually his music? So we could have had a Sonic 3 with an actual Michael Jackson soundtrack to it.
Shermone.
Motherfucker. Yeah.
Well, that
There you go.
was...
That's your Michael Jackson history for today.
And your theatre. Well, overall, what would you give it then?
The show?
Yeah.
I'd give it a 3 out of 5, which is maybe slightly generous, but a 3 out of 5, I'd say.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd say 3 out of 5. Like, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
I did feel like some of the bits where they went back to his childhood were a little bit dull. It's weird because I thought there were a few songs like Thriller, like They Don't Think About Us, that were just really big and powerful. And like at the end of it, you're like, wow, that was amazing. And beat it at the beginning. And then there were some songs that were just like, blah, 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 and it was some kind of badly and it wasn't amazing.
Sorry.
Yeah, you know
what
that
song
Michael
was
Jackson.
that?
Say You'll Be Mine. Is that one of them?
That's a Spice Girls song. Oh, no, that's Say You'll Be There.
No, what's the one where he goes, when in the Jackson 5? That's what sing back.
What was that?
What was the Jackson 5 song?
I don't know which one you mean.
It's not Say You'll Be There. Jackson.
I Want You Back.
No.
ABC?
Yeah, that one.
ABC.
I think. Oh, I'll be there. I'll be there. Is that the one?
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Say You'll Be There.
Say You'll Be There. Yeah.
Yes, I'll be there. Sure that.
They also didn't sing. Oh, he didn't sing Ben.
He didn't sing Ben, which was a song. So if you don't know, but my name is Ben.
Is it?
And I don't know if it's entirely true. My mum told me that she liked the name Ben because she had the single by Michael Jackson of Ben. And I don't know if it's just a memory. I'm sure this is in my brain, and it was something she actually did say. I should probably check. But she always liked the name, and that's why I was called it. But she always liked it from that single. And then I Googled it and I found out that it was a song that Michael Jackson did for a film, I think it was, or a TV series or a film. And Ben was a killer rat. It was a horror film or something about a killer rat. So I'm named after a killer rat.
Fitting.
Potentially.
Fitting.
What do we fit? How dare you? Well, okay, well, that's the theatre moment. Every time we go to the theatre, we do like to have a little bit of a segment.
It's my side hustle.
It is.
Is the well, I did theatre reviewing before game reviewing, so
That's true. Some say you should go back to it.
who's some?
I don't know.
I'd love to.
Well, do it.
Someone
Do
will
it
pay
for
me.
swapping joysticks. Oh, I won't pay you.
Oh,
Well, actually, I'll pay you 90% of all advertising revenue from the website.
so that's not very much, is it?
I don't get any. But if we did get some, I'd give it all to you if you're doing reviews for things.
Sure.
There you go. So that was theatre. Now, we are a video game podcast, so we should be talking about games.
We should. And should we start with the showcase that was
Yes.
that occurred before we recorded this? So, yeah, which was Thursday evening that this occurred.
Yo, yesterday evening.
Yeah, yesterday. The Xbox Partner Showcase. Is that what they called it?
They've got so many...
Xbox Partner Preview. Sorry.
I just hate how they've all got... Every single thing has different names for all their different shows.
Partner Preview, State of Play.
No, but like
Direct.
not even that. Like the State of Play, and then what if it... Oh, is it called like a Partner State of Play? Because it's the Partner Preview, but then there's the Xbox Game Showcase. So there's got the Game Showcase, the Partner Preview. Like, don't give different names for different things. There's Indie... What's the Indie Nintendo one? Indie Direct?
Nindies is what people call it.
Yeah, I don't know. They've just got different names. It just gets very confusing. But yeah, this is the partner one. So it's not...
It's third party, so it's not Xbox Studios, it's not your Halos and your Fables, it's all the other stuff that's coming to Xbox.
Yeah, and some of them do come to Game Pass. So even though they're third party, which
Yes.
a lot of third party games do.
What did you think overall?
I really liked it. There were some games that I'm like, you know what, I will play that. And there was at least one that I thought, you know what, I want to play that, which I didn't know about before.
And which one was that?
It was the one that looked a little bit like a cross between Immortals Phoenix Rising, which is an amazing game, better than Zelda. You should play it.
No.
And it was like a cross between that and kind of Kenna. So it's a game.
Wow, two games that I love.
You need to play Immortals. Underappreciated.
Do
But
I?
yeah, that game was called, as the slowly look, Eternal Strands. I hope it's a Strand game.
I don't think it is.
Oh, that's a pity. But yeah, it looks like just a fun, like fantasy game with loads of magical powers. Yeah, and you can kind of mix your ice and fire and other elements to fight bosses, and it just looked really kind of fun and cute. And it's out in
Fun and cute.
early 2025. But yeah, I just like the colors, and it just seems like a game that you could hopefully like sit back and button mash a bit and make some cool things happen and just progress. It didn't seem too serious, which sometimes you want something away from all the depression and seriousness.
Yeah. Well, speaking of both of those things, the two headline things I think from this were the Alan Wake 2 DLC, which you could put on the depressing serious side of
I
things.
really want to get into Alan Wake. Maybe I should just give it another go, remastered, then play 2.
You should try it.
Stick on YouTube, maybe.
The Lake House is the DLC, which is out next Tuesday, the 22nd of October, and it relates to Control because
Yes, it does.
Remedy are also working on Control 2, and Control had Alan Wake DLC to link to Alan Wake 2, which now has Control DLC to link to Control 2. So they're all sort of weaving with one another. So that's coming out, which looks like it could be quite good. I might give it a go. Remedy are also working on a multiplayer game.
That was a
Which
surprise.
was at the very end.
Yeah.
Which is their first ever multiplayer game, which is a shooter. So just doesn't seem very Remedy at all. But
No.
was interesting. A good extra to have.
It'll be interesting. If it's good, people are going to love it. But if it's bad, they'll be like, why aren't you working on Control 2? Why are you making this shit? Are you trying to... is it going to be...
focus on single player?
Is it going to have some free-to-play mechanic? Not free-to-play, but is it going to include some like
Probably.
battle pass and that? And they'll be like, oh, they've shilled out. Oh, you know. We'll find out.
Probs. And then on the other end of the spectrum,
Oh,
that was the headline, was another trailer for Pirate Yakuza.
Yeah.
which is looking very silly, like a dragon pirate yakuza in Hawaii. Where you play as I forgot his name.
Majima.
Majima. And he's a pirate, and he's in Hawaii, and it's very, very silly, but looks like a lot of fun.
I really would be interested in it, but I need to, and I know it's probably not follows on or anything like that, but
No, it does follow from Infinite Wealth.
These are like 2 really long games that I've got to then finish to then play Pirate in Yakuza in Hawaii.
It's set in Hawaii, which is where
Infinite
that's
what I was
Wealth is
thinking.
set. So I think it does follow on. I don't know, so I haven't played Infinite Wealth. I think Majima's probably maybe in it, but I think this is meant to be like, what's he doing at the same time? Maybe, I think.
Interesting.
I could be wrong.
Well, I will play that maybe in about 5 years once I finish the Yakuza games.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe I think that might be my game to play when we go to Japan. Although I feel like if we go to Japan, playing Yakuza is a bit
on the nose.
Yeah. But I actually really liked the look of the game called Blind Fire, which was like a really cool, futuristic, like lasers and neon colored kind of first person shooter. I don't know. I just really like the look and the style. And they were like, hey, from today, you can play it in early access. So I thought, you know what, I'll give that a download.
Nice. There were 2 others that I'll bring up as well. The first is the next game from Bloober, who have obviously, scroll up, who have just released Silent Hill 2, the remake. And obviously previously they worked on other games like The Medium and what was the sci-fi one, the cyberpunky one? Yeah, I'm going to tap your arm until you remember. They also had Layers of Fear.
I know which one you mean because I thought it was really...
I played it on stream.
Did you?
Yeah. It wasn't very popular.
Bloober. I think I know which one you mean because it was
called.
out at the same time as another game that I was interested in. Bloober. Well, you...
Anyway, so they
Observer.
made Observer. That's the one.
Not Observation, because I used to get confused with Observer and Observation.
There you go.
And Blair Witch.
Yes. And Blair Witch. So they've made sort of games before, but I think Silent Hill is the game that's really put them on the map because people expected it to not be very good, like their previous games, which were a bit of a mixed bag. And did you just dribble tea down yourself?
It felt like I did, but I don't think I did.
Oh, well, I can't see anything. Now they've made Silent Hill 2 that I think actually has been above expectations and people have really enjoyed. So their next game is another original, which is called Kronos: The New Dawn. And it is a sci-fi survival horror game because, of course, it's another horror. And it's going to be out next year on PC and Xbox Series X and S. And it is set... partly in 1980s Poland and partly in a sort of post-apocalypse, and it's the trailer is like a guy, I presume a guy, might not be, a character in a spacesuit playing chess with an old lady, and he loses and then gets quite angry.
Does he kill her?
There's a lot of blood. Well, he sort of grabs her, and that's the end. So anyway,
that's like you when you play a game and you lose.
Yeah, I grab. So, yeah, it's the next game from Bloober, which I think will be really interesting to see how that turns out after Silent Hill and what have they learned from Silent Hill, if that has helped them with anything. So I think that'll be good. Another game that was shown at this, which Xbox had sort of previously said was going to be in it, is Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, I think it's called.
Well, let's scroll and find out.
There you go. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. And... on the one hand, I think this looks great. On the other hand, I think it looks really boring. So it is a Souls-like action RPG set in a fantasy Chinese setting, which I'm kind of like, okay, well, we've got Black Myth Wukong, we've got Where Winds Meet, we've got Phantom Blade Zero, all of these sort of Chinese fantasy action games. And I'm like, why is this one going to stand out? Because it's just the same as all the others. But then watching the trailer, I'm like, oh, it does look quite cool.
Yeah, cool, I think is the word. Like all the different colours, and I'm very easily pleased. Like all the different colours when you're fighting, all the elements or whatever special kind of magic effects that your weapons get looked quite interesting.
It's a lot more colourful. It's dark fantasy. It looks like you can switch between the sort of real world and demonic world. But there's lots of colour with magic effects and some really cool looking bosses. There's a lady covered in feathers who has sort of dance-like movements, and there was another lady with a big sort of fox fur scarf that then she can turn into a giant fox fur thing to hit you, which looks quite inventive. So it looks like it's quite
Yeah.
in terms of its boss design, which is very up my street. So
Everybody's making their own. Well, who knows if it's Dark Souls? I wonder
Yeah.
if it'll have difficulty settings. And I was just thinking then, like, what will happen? What would happen if they release a game like this that was, very Souls-like, and it had something like adaptive difficulty, and they announced that from the start? And I think that could get new people into it, because a lot of people switch off the second they see that.
I think that's a really interesting point, and I think a lot of developers, when they now make a Souls-like, and I should just say that like Black Myth Wukong is not really a Souls-like. Phantom Blade Zero is not a Souls-like, and Where Winds Meet is also not a Souls-like, which are the other three that I'd already compared this to. But with Wu Chang, they have specifically said this is a Souls-like. In the YouTube description, it says Souls-like, so they're making the comparison themselves, because people get really uppity about, oh, is it actually a Souls-like or is it not? You're just using the words.
Yeah.
They have literally said that themselves. I think when people make a Souls-like, they go one of two routes. They either do what Liza P did and said, we want to make a really difficult game and beat FromSoft at their own game. And
From Saw, that's how I felt after beating Elden Ring.
I bet. And do something, along those lines. Or they go the other way, which I think Wolong did. And I don't know if Neo has it as well, but maybe not. I think Wolong has different difficulty settings.
No, I don't think Neo does. Otherwise, I would have put it down.
Okay. But I think Wolong does.
Okay.
I think.
I was just thinking,
or some do have that kind of like, well, we want to make an accessible or approachable Souls-like, and so they go the other way of giving you difficulty settings and all of that FromSoft don't.
I think learning bosses, it's like the game, those kind of games is not really finishing it. Finishing it is not like the fun part of it. It's not a story game that you pretty much start and then you play and then you want to finish it. So like actually learning the boss battles and learning how to fight and doing that is kind of part of the experience of playing that game. So if there's an easy mode and you can just rinse through it with like button bashing, it kind of takes away the experience that they want you to give. But that's why I'm like, well, why don't you have it where they, after, let's say they've died 5 times on a boss, they ask you if you want to have enable an adaptive difficulty, or they do something just to make it a little bit easier for you. Maybe they give you a second chance that you can just quickly get back up, and then every 5 you get an extra one of those, so you can just keep doing it until, I don't know, just to make it a little bit easier for people who do struggle, because there are people who would struggle with those games, whether they're, I mean, maybe not too young, because those games are usually like 15, 18 plus, but maybe they've got some kind of disability, or they don't have the skills to complete those games, but they do want to give it a good shot, but then they don't want to be just completely locked out from the rest of the game.
Well, Rebirth has dynamic difficulty.
That's right. That's what I'd heard it before.
And I played that on dynamic difficulty, and I couldn't tell you the difference. I didn't experience anything that stood out to me as being dynamic, but apparently it does, and I played it on it.
Just give people a chance,
or you've got another Crab's Treasure where they just give you a gun and just say, "Here, go one-shot the bosses," which admittedly is a drastic solution, but it's also quite fun.
What I really liked maybe this would be a good idea. In Final Fantasy XIV, when you do a trial, which is a big boss fight, every time you die, I believe your attacks are increased by 5%, and your overall health goes up by 5%. So imagine doing that, like after the 5th death or the 3rd death or something like that. Every time you died, your attacks on this just one boss went up by like 5%. So the more you tried, you could, you're going to get better and better, but you're still kind of learning, and it's not giving you it on a plate, but it just makes it a little bit. And they could even weave that into the lore at some reason or whatever. Like, I quite like it when they do that, when there's a video game mechanic that's kind of weaved in, like we're talking about with Metaphor. I don't know. There are lots of ways of doing it that doesn't shut people out.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're not having that discussion again, although we kind of just did.
Yeah.
Are Souls games too difficult? Should there be an easy mode in Dark Souls 4?
Let's not go there. Also, I've just remembered my amazing idea that I've meant to bring up when we were talking about the musical.
Oh yeah, you said you were going to save that for the podcast.
Yeah. Well, we were we were talking during the interval,
Yeah.
and
Half time.
the interval, and obviously it's a musical about Michael Jackson, and I was thinking, well, who are the pop stars today that people are going to be making a musical about in like 20, 30, 40 years time? And I was like, is it going to be Taylor Swift or Beyonce or something? Like, will we go and watch a show that is
Shouldn't
the
be
life of
hard
Taylor Swift
to find someone
as
that's got a
musical?
better voice than Taylor Swift.
Well, no. But then I came up with a genius idea for a Taylor Swift show, which is basically Six the Musical, but with
her
Taylor
exes.
Swift's exes. And so in the same way that Six is like the wives of Henry VIII telling their side of the story, it would be Taylor Swift's ex-boyfriend singing her songs to explain their side of all the breakups.
Sounds incredibly misogynistic, Ed.
No, that's not what I
I
meant.
think we need to cancel you. Yeah.
That's not what I meant.
Are you saying that she just moves around? She eats men up for breakfast?
No,
Okay.
you're putting words in my mouth now.
Oh, well.
I just thought it would be a fun twist for an idea. Well, now you've ruined it. I thought it was
We'd have to
great.
call it like 17.
Comment if you liked the idea and want to invest.
Well, yeah. What other options?
Invest in the legal battle against Taylor Swift that I
Yeah.
would have to face for that.
You wouldn't face it. You would lose.
Yeah.
But you'd lose before she even acknowledged who you were. Okay. Well, thank you for that. Where were
There we go. Anyway, the Xbox
Firebreak.
partner preview.
Yeah. Baboo looked interesting. I had a big dog, so I was immediately drawn to it.
Yes, that's true.
Also, Phasmophobia coming out on the 29th of October, which I guess then is the PS5 one. I guess that's why they just said it'll be out of the Halloween period. In other words, like they wanted to announce it on Xbox, and maybe this got delayed or something.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's interesting because it's annoying because it's 2 days before we go to Japan, so I won't be able to do my VR stream of Phasmophobia, which I will do when I come back.
When you come
I promise.
back.
And then there's the Dutch game called Wheel World, which is a cycling one. I say Dutch because it's got bikes in it. And that was it, really. Like Animal Wells coming to Xbox, Subnautica 2 getting a thing.
So anyway,
Yeah.
we weren't going to go through all of it, but I guess our choices were sort of Wu Chang and the Silent Hill game and the Strands game that you liked. Eternal Strands?
Yep.
There we go.
Right.
So that's what you need to know. So we should talk about what we've been playing this week, which for reasons I am unable to. But you have been playing something that came out this week in early access.
Yeah, and I finished it about an hour ago. Well, I finished episode 2
of
Life is Strange Double Exposure. I was about to say double entendre, but that's not.
Double exposure.
Double explosion. Yeah. Yeah, that is the latest Life is Strange game. There have been a bunch of them out. God, there have been. But however, this is a sequel to the very first Life is Strange game that includes Max Caulfield. And yes, I mean
that's controversial.
It is controversial. Well, Life is Strange 1. And then after that, they released, I believe, Life is Strange Before the Storm, which was a prequel to Life is Strange, which was made with this team. Studio.
There's Don't Nod.
Not Don't Nod. It's like Yacht or something like that. Isn't it like a Yacht?
No,
40?
keep talking, I'll look it up.
But yeah, so they did Before the Storm, and I remember really didn't like that. It was incredibly, like it looked really naff, very badly done. I don't know. I didn't like it at all. I thought the writing was really cheesy and terrible for Before the Storm.
Deck 9.
Deck 9. I knew it was a yacht or something like that.
It was a yacht.
Yeah,
Deck
Deck
9.
Like deck, like on deck. That's why I thought.
Yeah, I got
And they're the ones with the allegations against them, aren't they?
Yes,
arsehole.
there's been a lot of reports into the making of this game in particular.
Of Life is Strange Double Exposure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then they did Before the Storm. Then there was Tell Me Why, which was a separate. Oh no. Then it was Life is Strange 2, which is a totally separate story. That might have come out. I'm getting the timeline wrong, but yeah, Life is Strange 2 came out, which was a different story set with two brothers who were Mexican immigrants in the US. And then there was Tell Me Why, which is a story about a trans twin, I believe, and then Life is Strange True Colors, which is another story, completely different, but it was brilliant, like the best one by far. And then they decided for some reason people loved the original one, so they thought they would do a sequel to that. And it's very interesting because at the very end of Life is Strange 1, and I'm going to preface this, if you want to skip if you don't want to know anything about Life is Strange 1 because you've not played it, and you're going to, go and check the information below and you can skip ahead because there will be spoilers from Life is Strange 1. Obviously, none from Life is Strange Double Exposure, but we do have to talk about the ending of 1.
Because it's a sequel.
Yes.
You kind of have to.
So this is a sequel, and at the end, the thing is, at the end of the first one, so you are Max Caulfield, and there is a girl called Chloe in there, Chloe with the blue hair.
Is she your girlfriend?
Well, that's the thing. You can choose whether I think that the sexuality, so I got like an eyelash in my eye. I think the sexuality of the main character is very up for you to decide. In my current playthrough that I'm doing right now, she is 100% pansexual.
Oh.
Or bisexual. Like, I'm flirting with everybody.
Well,
Everyone's hot in it.
understandable.
Yeah, they're older in this one as well, so it's not
So it's
weird.
okay.
Yeah. But so Chloe in the original one, there's Max and Chloe, and there's a massive fandom that loves her, and they ship them together. I mean, does it count as shipping when they're actually an item if you play the game? I'm not sure, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they play it as though, they got together, and at the end of the game, well, during the game, you can then decide if she's a really good friend or if she's a girlfriend.
Just a good friend.
And then,
Roommates.
yeah, I chose her to be a friend because I found her really annoying. And she was kind of like the naughty kid at school who'd always be like, no, don't go to class. That's boring. Come hang with me.
She's such a rebel.
Yeah, she got blue hair
Okay.
and we weren't necessarily like that. And I just thought she was a really bad influence and she really annoyed me. So I didn't.
Because you're such a good boy.
Well, to be honest, I know you would feel exactly the same.
Yep.
But yeah, my hair's really annoying me today. And then at the end, you can make a choice. Gus, spoiler alert, at the very beginning of the game, Chloe gets killed and she gets stabbed or something like that in the toilets. And then you, by a guy, and then you play through the game, but then you rewind time and you can change. She's got special powers that you can rewind time, and then you can make a change so then it doesn't happen.
It sounds like Round the Twist,
Don't know what that is.
which was a children's TV show when I was growing up.
Was there murder in it?
It was no, I think it's actually Australian. So maybe there are Australian listeners that know what I'm talking about. But it was I think it was on CBBC.
Neighbours.
And it was like strange things happen. And I remember there was one with like this boy that grew like fish scales all over himself, and it was really weird. And it turned out that he was actually just a fish boy. But it was like a sort of weird horror thing for kids.
Oh.
And it was and you're going round the twist was the theme tune.
That was before my time.
Maybe. But it's like strange things happening in supernatural things in teenage land is what it was.
Let us know. I know Clues listeners. Clues, tell us about this. Thank you as well for commenting last time. Yeah, so where were we? Yeah, so then you rewind time. And then as you progress through the game, the story with Chloe by your side, because you'd saved her, obviously, different things happen. And at one point you're like abducted by this psycho businessman kind of guy, and then anyway at the very, very end you can, like, the way that, because you've altered reality, this is as far as I remember, that because you've altered reality, there's a big storm coming and it can destroy the whole town and kill loads of people in the town. However, or you can go and rewind right to the very, very, very beginning and let Chloe die, and if she does die, then you've just let fate happen, but then you don't, she's not there anymore, but the town is saved.
So you don't get to kiss Chloe.
You don't.
Oh.
So what you can do at the end, you can either save the town or save Chloe. That was the easiest decision I ever made in my life. I saved the town. I was like, see you later, Chloe. Have a good, well, no, not life. But
Wow.
So I did that. And I was like, you know what, that was a fine ending like that. I would have felt weird having the other ending, because it's like, why would I let loads of people die for somebody who's just a friend? Would you let a town?
That's true.
Yeah. What about if you were would you save me or a town?
Don't put me on the spot like that, Ben.
Would it depend on the town?
Yeah.
If it's a nice one.
I mean, if it's London, I'd maybe save London. But if it's, Wakefield, I'd probably...
How dare you? What's wrong with Wakefield? Anyway, no, it'd probably improve it. I'm from Wakefield.
That's why I selected it.
Who is also, and also, I didn't realize, but literally like a 20-minute walk from my parents' house is where, maybe not 20 minutes, like an hour's walk from my parents' house is where cruise ship singer Jay McDonald lived and grew up. I had no idea, but I think still lives.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was a weird tangent. But anyway, so the
there's
story,
this
you can
big
choose it.
choice at the
Yeah.
end.
So there isn't really a sequel because there are two completely different endings.
But now there
But now there's a
is.
sequel. And for me, the game is perfect for me, the sequel.
Okay.
Because in it, at the beginning, pretty much near the beginning, it asks you in a conversation that you're having with somebody, oh, who's Chloe then? Who is she? And you can decide whether she was a girlfriend, or your girlfriend, or whether she was like a childhood best friend or something, whatever. Childhood sweetheart. I don't know if that together. If your childhood sweetheart,
That means
romantic,
that means
isn't
you
it?
banged, yeah.
Okay, we didn't bang. So I obviously said, oh, we were friends. And then they're like, oh, and what happened to her? And then you can say that we were, that we lived together, or we split up or something like that, or she died. So I was like, okay, yeah, she died. But the people who have played the original absolutely adored it. They played it multiple times. They love Max and Chloe. They've even got a ship name because it's Max. I've already just said
Is
that.
it Caulfield?
Caulfield and Chloe Price, and it's Pricefield.
Right.
So that Pricefield is their ship name. And like they've got people that just write fanfic about this, because they go off and live together. So they've written all this stuff. And now the canon in this sequel is that, if they stay together, then...
Is this a spoiler?
Well, it's at the very, very beginning of the game.
Okay, well...
It's coming up.
There you go.
If you're going to play it, you'll have seen this on Twitter. I guess you'll have seen it anyway. But it's right at the very beginning. You break up.
Okay.
So it just goes, oh yeah, you broke up. And she dumped you because she wanted to go and be on her own and go solo. And all these people are just like, what the fuck? Like, that is not what... I don't know. It just... I'm interested to see where the story of the sequel goes and whether there would have been potentially a way to explain why she was not there. Maybe she had like a drug problem and she went to get clean or somewhere, or I don't know. They could have maybe included it, but I'll see. But anyway, no, I've just been seeing lots of people who love Life is Strange talking about how they've refunded it, and there's they cancelled their pre-orders. There's no way that they're gonna do it, and like
people
really
are
angry.
really invested in that story.
I didn't realize it had such a fan base.
Hugely. And I think ultimately the developers probably didn't plan to have to make a sequel and thought, oh, we'll just write a complete story. And isn't it interesting that you've got this choice at the end? And then all of the subsequent Life is Strange games, I think, haven't sold as well. So they've gone, oh shit, maybe we should go back to the original story in order to like boost our sales. But then how do you extend that story without pissing off half the fandom, depending on the choice that you make? So I think it's an uphill battle, and hopefully this game has an interesting enough story that it sort of stands on its own without the impact of that decision affecting it too much. And well, what would you... How has it been for you? Because you played the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, there are 5 episodes and early access. And by the way, thank you very much to Square Enix for providing a key. I played the first 2 episodes out of 5, and they're the only 2 that are available. And they told me that, like, they want to release the first 2 because then there'll be lots of questions and theories about what happens after those 2 episodes. Before then, they release the final 3. And now I'm like, oh yes, now I understand. But yeah, like I really like it. I think True Colors was really interesting. Like, True Colors was brilliant. It's a really, really good one. And the original Life is Strange, I loved it, but it was when I was doing a podcast with Jordan and Andre. And Andre or Jose, we used to love it, but we used to love it a bit extra just to piss Jordan off because he couldn't stand it. He thought it was rubbish.
I mean, I'm slightly more on Jordan's side.
Yeah, I thought you would be. But yeah, anyway, we used to rub it in a bit. So I'm like, some part of me is like, did I actually love it, or did I just say that to piss him off? But actually, I think I did really like it.
Well, let me say then. So I played, I think, maybe the first 2 episodes of the first Life is Strange and wasn't really a big fan, just because I found it a bit... to me, it felt very like teen emo and a bit twee and just a bit silly. And sorry. But what I will say is that I played Tell Me Why, which I enjoyed. And then I played True Colors. And I really liked
you played True Colors, okay.
I really liked True Colors. And I think for me, the two big differences, firstly, the graphics were better. And I don't want to sound shallow about graphics, but for me, the original Life is Strange with the sort of plastic haircuts and robotic animation, when you've got a story game that's so focused on story that then when the presentation of that isn't very good, for me, it just sort of takes away from the storytelling.
Didn't they remaster the original, though?
I think so. I didn't play that, so I don't know.
Go and play it.
Well,
I mean,
maybe
before the Storm was terrible, like with graphics. That's one of the reasons why I didn't like it. Let me see if I can find you a screenshot.
So True Colors, though, like the presentation was so much better. I think they had proper motion capture. The performances were better. So I really liked it. But secondly, with True Colors,
that's before the Storm. I'm just showing you, and it was
not
terrible.
True Colors as well. I just think the storytelling was more mature. The script was better. So I felt like I got drawn into it a lot more. So I can fully see with the first game, the whole choice stuff that you've talked about. I can fully see why people would get invested in that. But overall, for me, the story was just very like teen drama, emo, whatever. And for me, True Colors felt a little bit more mature. So to that, how does this new one compare? Is it going back to the first game, or is it more mature like True Colors was?
Interesting you say that. I recommend you watch my playthrough of the
really?
second episode. No, I mentioned in that I was like, I feel that the writing is way better, way better. I haven't found any cringy lines at all, which is a first. But also, Max has matured.
Good.
So because Max has matured, maybe the writing has matured, but also I don't know, I just feel like the writing is excellent, the way that they can portray that she's a bit older now and she has matured more. So those cheesy lines that, I mean, there's still some like dad jokes and goofy like things like that. But I mean, there's characters in there that do that. But
yeah, that makes sense.
It does feel a lot more mature. It does feel very well written. And it does, like, they are really doing their bit to make sure that like every demographic is recognized in this game, which I do appreciate a lot. And it's just nice to be in a world like that. And that is also one thing I really like about Life is Strange in general are the moments where you have to do something, but you can just wander around where you are and you can interact with a load of things. And you're not like turning things on or using things or whatever. You're just like observing them, but you can just go have a little wander around, observe something, and then it's all voice acted. So she'll make a comment about something that she's looking at. And I don't know, just walking around in this like really relaxed atmosphere. It's something that I really enjoy in the game. And it's something in like films and TV shows that I like. I think, kind of slice of life. There's a description for it. And I'm sure you'll find it, of where for example, in an anime, and I think it does it in the Ghost in the Shell, the one that they made into a live action, but originally was an anime. I think it's Ghost in the Shell.
Okay.
There's a moment in there where I think it's like a ferry or a bus or something is just going through the city, and there's the music blasting, but it's just like observing people, what they're doing. And that I really enjoy because it just lets you kind of soak in the atmosphere. And you're not just going on this quest, going from here to here to here. You can just take a moment and live in that place. And that's what Life is Strange does quite well. If you want to go from A to B and complete the story and just, follow the instructions, you can do. But a lot of the time, and they'll give you little rewards, and there might be some other things that you can unlock, but just by kind of wandering and exploring. And I think that does it really well.
Nice. So there are still 3 more episodes for you to play.
Yes.
Which you're going to be playing soon.
Yeah, hopefully before Japan. It comes out 2 days before, so I'm like, well, do I have time to record them and do them then?
Well, just to explain for people then who don't know, so that it's an episodic structure.
Yes. And the original did get a lot of flack, I believe, because they came out like every 6 weeks or something like that. Or was that Hitman? I don't know, but there was a time when there were a few... Yeah, there were a time when quite a few things started coming out episodically and everybody was really kicking off, even though I quite like them.
I mean, I quite liked it as well, to be honest.
It's like a TV series.
But what they've done with this is you very luckily have a key. But for anyone else, if you buy the special edition version of the new game that is obviously more expensive, you get to play the first 2 episodes now, whereas everybody else has to do it at the end of the month when the full game gets properly released.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a bit exploitative for people that want to find out what happens first. They have to pay extra for the fancy version, and now loads of spoilers are going to be around on the internet for the next 2 weeks for everybody else, which isn't really fair.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're not the only ones guilty of it. In fact, Hitman 3, I believe, was the same. Not Hitman 2, I think it was 3, was guilty of the same, where not quite where there's like spoilers, but it was one of those where if you got the deluxe version, you could play like 5 days earlier.
I mean, a lot of games do that now.
They do, but like there was no other benefit for it. There wasn't anything extra. It was literally like an extra £10 to play the game 5 days early, and that's all. And I'm like, that is really, really shady. Throw in some extra bonus pre-order stuff. I don't like it. I really, really don't like it. But if they've got some, like this has some costumes, like I've got the Kupo Moogle outfit, and there's a few other things that look really cool. And I really don't like it at all. But like, if you are going to do that, throw in a few extra things as well. But yeah, no, I'm not a fan of that. Because especially, at the end of the second episode, there is like a big thing that happens, and you want to, like I was really, really shocked. Like it was something I didn't see coming, and I wouldn't have liked to have known about that at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't like that, but it's weird because the episodes that came out, I feel like there were 2 quite different ones. The first one was very, very much kind of setting the story, introducing you to the characters, and like the premise of your powers, but only right at the very end, and also the premise of like what the story is. But there was very, very little puzzling or puzzles, very few puzzles, where in the past, I mean, I think maybe it's the same in Life is Strange 1 and maybe in the other ones as well. So like just the first episode was very story, walking around, get all this information, and not really you doing anything. It was more like a visual novel. Yeah. Whereas the second episode that I just recorded literally tonight, there were a lot more puzzles in there, which I appreciated a lot. And I did one of them at Gamescom, so I was able to whiz through that. But I wonder how long extra it would have taken me if I didn't quite realize. Well, it took me 20 minutes, I think, in Gamescom, and it probably took me like 15 this time, so maybe not too much. But yeah, it makes you think a bit more. And I wonder if the puzzles will get trickier as I play, as like we'll go through the different episodes. We'll see. But
we'll get your final review then at the end of the month.
No, you won't.
Maybe.
Well, you won't because we'll be in Japan.
This is true.
So after...
Well, at some point, we will get your full final review of the complete story.
Unless we record a podcast live from Japan.
Well, maybe let's not commit to that.
No, let's not.
There we go.
Awesome.
Well, let's find out what everyone at home has been playing this week.
Yes, please do, because I don't think anything else I've been playing. Balatro still. It's a great game.
Yeah, still playing Balatro. It is brilliant. I think that's going to be in our list somewhere at the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't think it's like the best game of the year, but it's a very good game.
Yeah.
I also think... Oh yeah, I also want recommendations for Game Boy games or Game Boy Advance games to play on my Pocket.
What are your favourite Game Boy games?
There are a few games I want to start playing on the Analog Pocket because I need to actually use it.
Well, it's Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, right? You can play both.
And Game Boy Color.
Of course.
So I really want to play through, I think, Pokemon Silver or Gold. Because I actually did, like, the original ones, I've got yellow here. I've got, red, blue, yellow. They were, or leaf green, we could get it in Japan. And I could get, so those ones are good. But I feel like Gold and Silver, I also completed those 2 games as well. And
I never played Gold or Silver.
So, and a lot of those Pokemon were ones that I was quite familiar with. It was after that I just completely lost. Like, I had no idea what anybody or any of them were. But like that was one with like Togepi and things like, what was one after Meowth? What's Meowth? Oh, was that in the original? Was that in the original?
Meowth is a Gen 1.
Oh no, but like what it evolves into.
Yeah, that was in the Gen 1.
Okay, or evolves from, maybe from. Maybe they did like the one before in the, I don't know.
I can't remember.
But yeah, Silver and Gold. That was probably like my last like generation. The Gen 2 was like my last generation that I loved before, like Scarlet and Violet, which I do really like. So I might play that. I also was looking for the best Fire Emblem games because I love Three Houses, and they said that Fire Emblem, can't remember what it was called.
There's one on the Game Boy Advance that I think is a remake of the very first.
It might be that one that's like the quintessential,
Yeah.
or it might be the one after that. It was like 7. I think in Japan it was like Fire Emblem 7, but here it was like 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
But apparently that's just like a really good one, and it's quite easy, but it's just giving you the like what Fire Emblem is, and I'm like, you know what, that sounds like a good one. However, it's expensive. It's like £40, like completely unboxed. And I'm like, I could probably stretch to that, but I like a bargain.
Well, let's see what people recommend to you then.
Wario Land 2 is also one of my favorites.
Of course. Right, so this week, Madam Knees is back on the PS5. Still, I finished the main story of Horizon Forbidden West.
I haven't done that.
Neither have I.
I think I should. Force myself.
Overall, I think the first game had a stronger story. I do appreciate the quality of life updates in the sequel, most notably making fast travel much more available, reducing the walking simulator sections. The crafting and resource gathering parts of the game felt as superfluous as the first one, with only the key items making much of a difference, but their resources were story scripted anyway.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, get this branch. Oh, you're full on branches. Like, oh, go, yeah, because I don't know what to spend them on. I was making arrows.
Yeah, I made tons of arrows. You always need arrows. Also, Zelda. Adorable music. This is Echoes of Wisdom. Adorable music, a great balance between classic Zelda dungeons and the freedom of solution that Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom bring. Surprisingly challenging boss fights. Make sure to stock up on smoothies.
Yeah.
Just checking I'm not forgetting anything. No, I'm not. Okay, Pete Random has been playing Outlaws the last few weeks.
Star Wars Outlaws.
And I believe has now finished it. But
he did.
Before that, we have.
In fact, you go to games after this because then he's got the update.
Okay. Other than Outlaws, this weekend I played local co-op Rhythm Doctor with my brother. It's a rhythm game where you only press one button, and the name of the game is always to tap on the 7th beat. Interesting. But it slowly gets more complicated with irregular time signatures, polyrhythms, and syncopated beats. I don't know what those words mean. I do. Don't worry. I highly recommend it, especially to Ed if he hasn't already played it.
Yeah, it sounds like
it's a few years old now. It's a single player as well. I need to look up that.
Yeah, that sounds like something that you'd be like, I got it first time. But no, actually, don't check games because I think Pete said he was going to save that for next week.
Okay. I also re-downloaded Balatro in a moment of weakness. Edit. 2 days later, I've had to delete it again. It does bad things to me.
Yeah, I didn't see that edit, but yep. I was like that with Marvel Snap.
Yeah.
Which I've not gone back to.
Oh, good. Clasco, I'm still playing Rebirth. I can't imagine getting bored with it. I've done quite a lot of the mini games at this point, and it's really set this game apart from Remake. Some of them are quite hard, but with a bit of perseverance, I've cracked them. Nice.
Yeah, Rebirth, I'm doing that on my Let's Play. I will get through all the others at some point. Like I get through, and I just need to like spend a couple of days binge playing and get it uploaded.
You'll love it. Vicky, mostly been playing Magic the Gathering, both on paper and on PC. I taught one of my friends the game during the storm, and it rekindled my love for stupid deck building.
Oh, the storm is in the hurricane. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I mean, not to romanticize that, but like normal storms, there is something nice about like a sort of autumn evening where it's like stormy outside and you're sat inside playing cards.
That's true. That's true.
I do like
pause for 1 second. And we're back.
Right. Let's carry on then with what people have been playing. And we continue with Debs, who has been playing Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Been a while since I answered this question today, so here we go. I recently finished Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and I loved it so much. The way you can defeat and solve puzzles with the echoes was definitely fun, and it's fun watching others play to see how they solve things in different ways. I do still want to go back to grab the missing echoes, but we will leave that for another day. I've also been playing lots of single-player Minecraft. It has been my nighttime retreat. I put on an audiobook and just explore and create. It has been fun just figuring things out on my own. Also, creepers still piss me off. I do not have keep inventory on.
Yeah, if you die, then you drop all your stuff. So then you have to go back when you respawn. You have to go and collect all your inventory that you've dropped. And other people could steal it.
Oh, that's annoying. And then lastly, Mr. Wibble says, I'm Minecrafted, also, which is a continuation of a long run building a mushroom tree.
Mm.
Is that what you call it? I also started Luigi's Mansion 3 on the Switch because I wanted a cute but Halloween-themed game to play. The story is a bit over the top, as most of these games are, but so much fun to just solve puzzles and hoover up all the ghosts. Not sure what else to say about the game though. The story is pretty well known by now, as are the mechanics. I genuinely love Luigi's Mansion 3.
I thought it was a really fun
It's
game from start to finish.
One of my favourite games on Switch. Like top 5.
I mean, I wouldn't say
It's- I just adore it. I think it's one of the best looking games on the system, and I just love how creative it is with all the puzzle solving on each. I don't know how far through you are, Mr. Wibble, but each floor is just like, because it's a fancy hotel, but it just goes into like crazy places, and it's so inventive, and I just love that game.
It's like the most Nintendo of Nintendo games. Like, it's really polished. It's fun. Anybody can enjoy it, and it's not to do. You just get it's like a 10-hour game, if that.
It's really good. Really good. Right. Well, we're not doing the news anymore, but we do have the news quiz.
News quiz. If you want to come up with a better name for the news quiz, then it's not news. Yeah, name or jingle,
Please record it for us.
and we'll play it. I'll stick it on the Stream Deck thing, and I'll press it.
Okay. Or just play it through your phone.
No,
Okay.
I'm professional.
Are you?
So last time I got 3 out of 5, and apparently a lot of people told me that they either got 0 or 1. So
I didn't think
I'll
it
take
was
that as a
that
win.
hard.
Yeah, but you like live, breathe, and eat video games kind of all day, every day. So
True.
it's like, I mean, the name of the island from a game that came out 25 years ago, Ed, that is...
I mean, I haven't played Dino Crisis, but I know a lot of people have. Like, it's a cult classic for a lot of people.
Well, come on. Let's make it a little bit easier this time. So
Is it
Ed's
easier?
going to read... Oh, God. Ed's going to read the 5 questions, and then we will go through the answers. So get your pen and paper ready, or your phone notes app or whatever. Get ready to write down your answers, and then we'll go through them. And this time they went
I'm
up...
not sure if it's easier.
Oh, God. They went up on TikTok yesterday, last week, and I didn't include the answers on there, so I'm going to add the answers this time. So are the answers quite short because I need good, because then I'll edit it. Because on YouTube Shorts, now they've extended it, but it's still 3 minutes.
Okay.
So
Right then, here we go. Eyes down. Question 1. So this week, It Takes Two passed 20 million sales. But who was the director of the game? What is his name?
Joseph Fares. Oh, so we're doing through the answers, aren't we?
I mean,
Yeah.
that is correct.
Hey, there we go. Okay, let's
Joseph
just do it normally.
Joseph Fares.
Fares. Okay, no, let's go. Sorry, I screwed that up, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah. Go on then.
So you're doing the answers each time?
No, but we'll go through it at the end.
Okay.
I've just screwed it up for myself.
Great. Well, you've got one.
Okay,
Well
good.
done. Okay, question number 2. So IO, who make Hitman, are currently working on a 007 Bond game, which...
See, that would have been a good question. What game is IO now working on?
No. But which Bond film was made into a PS1 game in 1999?
Okay, next.
Okay. Question number 3. So we talked earlier about the Analog 3D, which is based on the N64. But what year was the N64 released in Japan?
Okay.
Question 4. We had a new trailer this week for Claire Obscure Expedition 33. And that has the voice of Andy Serkis in it. He was previously in a video game playing King Bohan in what game made by Ninja Theory,
Okay.
which was a PS3 exclusive?
It's not a short question, but yeah, cool.
Question 5. We had the first speedrun level for Astrobot out this week. But what game did Astrobot first feature in?
Right, okay. So they're the questions. Let's go through the answer. The number 1 we know is, number 1, Joseph Fares.
I think it's Fares
Fares.
is how it's pronounced.
Okay.
So he was the director of It Takes Two.
Mm-hmm. Good, I know that one.
Question 2. Was that the Bond one? Because I actually did them in the wrong order.
I don't know.
I think it was. Question 2. So which Bond film was made into a PS1 game in 1999?
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Correct. Came after GoldenEye.
Yes, I think so. I knew that, and I don't know why. I think. Well, I mean, I was a PlayStation person, so.
Fine.
Oh, am I gonna get more than 3 this time?
Maybe.
Can I get 5?
Question 3. What year was the N64 released in Japan?
Oh, I should write this down, shouldn't I, on a piece of paper? Yeah. What year was it? Oh, I think 1996.
Correct.
Whoa, 3.
Japan was June 96, America was September 96, and Europe was March 97. So
Interesting.
it came a little bit later.
Wow, I'm on fire today.
Question 4. Andy Serkis, who's the voice of Gollum, played King Bohan in which 2007 PS3 exclusive?
King Bohan. I don't know. Is it?
I mean, I don't think the character name really helps, to be honest. It sounds like Rohan, but it's not.
What? Okay, but like, it's just such a pointless question. Like, no one knows this. Do questions that people know. I would say Fallout New Vegas.
Heavenly Sword.
I don't even know what that game is.
It was Ninja Theory, and it had a lady warrior with bright red hair. Okay.
We need to have a talk.
Okay. Question 5. In which game did Astrobot first appear?
Oh, I hope this isn't a trick question, but I'm going to go Astrobot Rescue Mission.
It's a trick question in that case. The Playroom VR, which was in 2016, and he was the main character in a minigame called Robot Rescue.
Oh, yeah.
And then they made him into a proper game.
Yes, I know that because that was the one where you are a monster. You're like a Godzilla thing chasing after them, and other people on this TV screen, they can play and control the characters, and you're like going after them.
See, I thought you'd played that.
I did.
Why I put that in.
I didn't realize it came out before. I thought it was just part of. I thought it was a launch title. Anyway, well, I'm glad that you've given us our university challenge difficulty questions, and I'm on 3 out of 5 again. I hope you feel intelligent, because I imagine that's exactly why you picked those difficult questions.
No, that's not.
So
I was just.
you can feel
things based on the
smarter than all
news.
of us.
No, I was just inspired by the news.
And what did we learn from the news? Why Ninja Theory? Why Andy? Oh, Andy Serkis was in
Andy
the.
Serkis.
Okay, that was yeah.
Because I was trying to think, well, what games has Andy Serkis been in? And then he was, I thought famously, working with Ninja Theory on a couple of different games.
No,
of
I've
which
never even
Heavenly
heard
Sword
of
was
that
the
game
first one.
before. I mean, maybe I don't know.
Well, I apologize.
Next week you can run them by me, and I'll tell you if they're easy or not.
Well, no, because then you'll know the answers.
Well, just yeah, we'll work on it. It's a new feature.
All right.
We'll improve.
Well, next week, which game did Michael Jackson nearly but not do the soundtrack for?
Yes, nice
There you
current
go.
question.
That's
there
not,
we go.
well, it's not newsworthy, is it?
No, unless something happens with Michael Jackson in the next week.
Well, let's hope.
That'd be weird. All right, he's back. So, well, thank you very much. I appreciate the effort that went into it.
Well, thank you. I tried.
I don't want to seem ungrateful.
Well,
But you are very intelligent and you like games.
no, don't say that. I'm not intelligent. I just have
Have
read a lot of
you-
magazines.
Yeah, I can tell. Well, I mean, let's ask people what they want. Do you like difficult questions like these, or do you want something that you can get 5 out of 5 on and it's kind of testing you more of the news? Let us know what you think. It's a new feature. It needs to be, you never know, we might even have a rename of it as well. So let us know in the comments what you think.
Sure.
All right. I think I've moved away from you during this podcast, haven't I?
That usually happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very, very much for watching. Ed, where can we find you?
You can find me at ed_nights on Twitch and Twitter and wherever else.
Excellent. And you can find me, Biggest Bennis, everywhere except for Twitter, Biggest Bennis1, although I'm much happier over on Threads and now Blue Sky. Everyone seems to be following on Blue Sky these days. So yeah, go over
Yeah,
there.
I'm on there as well. I never use it.
No, I should do. But go and also check out YouTube, youtube.com/biggestbenders. That's, I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube already, you'll see me. But there will be a lot more Let's Plays up there. And once, especially once I'm back from Japan, they will be up there at a regular time. I'm just running out of time at the moment to record them. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Check out swappingjoysticks.com if you want to watch any previous ones or listen to any previous ones. And yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Watching and listening.
Watch listening.
Sure.
Wisting.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.